Saddest cases on paternity court.
It was your mom's
I didn't call you.
You did numerous times. You're gonna be like your mom.
Mr. Woody, you are not his father.
What Miss Quiller alleged in paternity court sparked curiosity and suspicion and left all of us with many questions unanswered. The distressed mother claimed that Miss Briggs' deceased son is the father of her daughter, but the plaintiff persisted that her son didn't mention having a relationship with the plaintiff. So the only way to get closure for good is a DNA test.
Ms. Quiller, you are here seeking DNA results to determine the father of your 3-year-old daughter, Nora. Ms. Briggs, you claim your son had no idea he may have fathered a child with the plaintiff. In fact, you say he never even mentioned.
While giving the relationship recap, the plaintiff disclosed that she and Mr. Jones did not have a formally committed relationship, but rather had a one-night stand. That's why he could potentially be the father.
One night that I came home from the club, and it just that particular night the alcohol in me was talking. It was a one-time thing, and we socialized, but we weren't that close, not to have relations with one another.
Well, all this grandchild thing out of the blue was too hard for Miss Briggs. She got emotional while explaining her first meetup with her possible grandchild like this.
She's really a good person, you know. When she finally did tell me that I had to possibly have a grandchild, I asked where she was, and she told me that she was in the store, and I finally met her, and it was like an electric shock went through my body like it was meant to be.
The unusual, unfortunate situation was not easy for Miss Quiller, but she had to do this for the sake of her daughter. I mean, yeah, to do this requires strength to explain your heavy heart.
When I spoke with her and told her it's a possibility that Charlie could be the father, she looked at her and she picked her up and she just burst into tears. She said, "This is my grandbaby." I just knew that she was my granddaughter. I had been dreaming about her for days.
Up next, it was revealed that Nora was somewhat therapeutic for Miss Briggs, and in this difficult time, that baby is bringing joy and peace to her. So the stakes here are higher than ever.
And I touched her, and it's like if you're sticking your finger in the socket, and my whole body was electrified, you know. If she's not mine, I still love, you know.
After this, we discovered that a rupture incident had happened with Mr. Jones. I was even terrified listening to this, but a big round of applause for the defendant, who's holding up her heart so much and not falling apart.
My son was shot 2 times in his chest. $3 in a pack of cigarettes what they killed my son for. When I showed up to the house where they killed my son at, his blood was still wet.
And then in a chance encounter, she doesn't know your son is passed.
Your Honor.
We felt bad for both sides. What happened to Miss Briggs' son was petrifying. But still, witnesses were needed to shed light on the matter of little baby Nora's life.
What is it that you know about this situation?
When he died, my son was the only child that was stated of him having. I don't know nothing about her. I don't know her at all. But her daughter, she deserves to know.
Briggs had been through the same trial once, and they didn't want history to repeat itself. I mean, how can people in this world be so cruel to someone? Come on, humans, stop being so hard.
She was at the funeral, everything, rubbing this girl back, rubbing her feet, cooking everything she wanted. We were setting up her baby shower she never showed up to.
So she just disappeared? She ran off?
Just disappeared. And then she went on Facebook and said she had a baby shower.
By now, it was evident that these people needed those results so badly for the sake of Mr. Jones and baby Nora. So, let us get to the conclusion part of this to determine if the results will bring some happiness to them.
It has been determined by this court. Ms. Briggs, you are not her grandmother. So sorry.
Infidelity is a relationship crusher. Such mistakes end up defining you. As you can see in this case, Mr. Pierce believed that Miss Covell cheated with 2 different guys when she conceived a baby, whereas baby mama admitted all the accusations and said that a DNA test is the only solution to their dispute.
Ms. Covell, you admit that you cheated around the window of conception, but you still say you have no doubt Mr. Pierce is your child's father.
Yes, Your Honor.
How do you feel about being dragged into court today?
I'm a little upset. I want to prove that he's the father.
Though the defendant admitted to her mistake, her actions were killing her family. It's obvious now if you cheat on your partner, you will lose his trust, isn't it? But here, Daddy had gone through something off limits that is causing a problem.
Going back 10 years ago, I've had the same thing happen to me. A young woman get pregnant, I was 18 years old, but she told me at the time that it may not be my child. But I still was a man that stepped up to the plate, went to and still took care of that kid. And at 6 months old, me and the mother weren't together, we were separated. As you can see, this child looks nothing like me.
So next, the judge asked how the cheating part got revealed. It turned out a cheating bombshell was dropped on the plaintiff after the baby was born. And baby mama admitted it herself.
I proposed to her. She was pregnant with Julian at the time. I don't know what came over me, but I was just like, you know, we're doing really good right now. We're whatever. If there's anything, you got to tell me. She told me, you know, that she had cheated on me back. I can't remember the exact month that she cheated on me. I lost it. I mean, I started crying. I was very upset.
While Miss Covell had this excuse for hiding the truth for this long, however, she has disappointed Mr. Pierce, even after knowing about the fraudulent incident that happened to him before.
I was scared of losing you. I was afraid of losing my family if I told you. My plan was to honestly never tell you. I couldn't deal with it. My conscience wouldn't let me.
Is that fair to him?
No, you're right, and that's why I'm here today. I've said I'm sorry a million times. I have said I'm sorry.
If only sorries could change things back so easily, then surely they would not have ended up in court to resolve things. Well, let's proceed with what happened next.
He was very supportive on and off. You say you were there. You might have been there physically, but not emotionally. And the other guy was asking me, you know, are you okay? I felt emotionally like he was more there for me.
How do we know that's the only time, though? If he does prove to be mine, how do I know that it's not happened any other time?
The question of paternity of a child made them question their whole relationship. Wow, their dynamic is strained. And now it looks like there's no way out of this testimony.
This mistake has not only led you to question Julian's paternity, but also to question your entire relationship.
You know, she was the good girl. She was never going to do this to me, knowing what happened.
In addition to the DNA test you request today, you're also requesting a lie detector test.
Correct, Your Honor.
Further, Mr. Pierce claimed that the baby looked nothing like him, and this strengthened his doubt. But the baby mama stated that the baby is identical to her childhood appearance.
The man she cheated with was white. That looks completely like a white baby. I mean,
that's what I was about to ask you. What does the gentleman you cheated with look like?
He is white. He does have blonde hair. But blonde hair also runs in both sides of our family.
He looks nothing like me, and I'm not saying he's not mine.
Miss Covell's fear of not telling the truth and deceiving had shattered trust. And now he lacked trust in her word. So, we know when things get this messy, the only solution is a DNA result.
It has been determined by this court, Mr. Pierce, you are Julian's father.
Yes!
Great news, right?
Thank you, Your Honor.
You're so welcome.
Miss Percival came to the court claiming that Mr. Henson is her father, whereas he is denying even having sexual intercourse with her mother. Moreover, another young woman rolled up in a court with the same accusations.
You did not sleep with Miss Percival's mother at the time she was conceived, and there is no way she is your daughter. Additionally, there is yet another young woman claiming Mr. Henson is her father.
The trial started conventionally with the plaintiff's testimony. It slipped that he denied Percival the whole time, but accepted her sister, whereas he revealed that he was married to another woman, and this is why he'd been denying her.
He's rejected me since, well, my whole life I've grown up not knowing who my father was, knowing that my sister, who was also through my mother, he accepted her when she was a baby.
Why is it you deny?
I was married with another woman at the time. Me and the other woman that I was in a relationship with was having a baby.
So the defendant has very strong reasons for turning down daddy duties. He claimed that he wasn't having any kind of relationship with the defendant's mom at the time she was conceived.
Miss Percival, when were you told that he was your father?
When I was 6 years old.
And from that point on, you had in your mind, this is your father. But he's never established a real relationship.
No, I barely met him 2 months ago at Teresa's house.
Let's hear it straight from the plaintiff's mama. Why was there a paternity claim in the first place? Seems like this guy's got a reputation for cheating on both his wife and girlfriend, but his denial game is strong.
I'm not sure why he doubts it, because of the simple fact I was with him, and then I had met somebody too, and I was sleeping with him, and then he was going back and forth to Tracy.
When I asked him for the DNA test, he said because your mother was a whore and sleeping with somebody else in the back seat of a car.
No, this is
that
not
is what you said.
But no, Mr. Hansen wasn't ready to fall for any of the actions. He knew what he was up to in the past. He gave the logical excuse to dodge all the claims and accusations like this.
Miss Percival, did you know Mr. Hansen growing up?
No, ma'am. He wasn't even in my sister Jessica's life. He took off.
No, I didn't take off.
Oh,
I
yes,
was
you did.
refused to see my daughter.
you
I didn't even know she was even around until she was like 12 or 13 years old. I didn't even know she existed.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So, why stir the pot when you can swab the spit? He didn't stop his drama and yet called the plaintiff a drama queen. I think it was easy for him to play the blame game.
We were separated. That was the end of it. That was the
So you're
end of
saying
it.
after she gave birth to Jessica, the daughter you say is yours?
Correct.
You never slept together
I
again?
wasn't even around her.
Did you think she looked like you?
No, she looks more like a guy that she took a ride in a van with.
Yeah, it was about time to get to the second lot in the courtroom. Miss Merchant's testimony was not in Mr. Henson's favor. She spilled the beans, and this time, the defendant is off guard.
So, Miss Merchant, you were married to Mr. Hansen at the time that Miss Percival was conceived.
Yes, I knew that she was born. I knew she was his when she was born.
You did.
I was with you. How could I be with you?
And her.
No, I was not.
Yeah.
However, Miss Merchant said that she knew when Miss Percival was born, and Mr. Henson was having a sexual relationship with her mother. Wow, that testimony just turns everything upside down, doesn't it?
You cheated on me.
So, Mr. Hansen, you're also denying that Miss Hansen is your daughter.
50-50 chance.
No.
My wife
He-
cheated on me while we were married with
Your
my
Honor.
older brother. I confronted my brother and he told me yes, he did.
Who on earth calls his daughter like that? He's so discriminating amongst his children. Man, these people are just scandalous. No end in sight, I tell ya.
It was your mom's
I didn't call you.
You did numerous times. You're gonna be like your mom.
My mother's one thing.
I lived with him for 3 months. He's never denied any of my brothers, and I just always felt like I was never worth having a father.
And the judge surely didn't like whatever game he was playing in the courtroom. That's why it was time for hard questions, and we are gonna have a true answer.
So you grew up not knowing your father.
Brought up with him telling me bad stuff about my mom, and I never thought that was fair. But my mom would never say anything bad about my dad.
And I apologize for saying the bad things about you.
Children pay for their parents' actions. Before you do something like Mr. Hansen, think about the outcome first. Let's get to the only solution and find out if Mr. Henson will do better or not.
Ms. Hansen, you are her father.
No,
Yeah.
I told you.
When it comes to the paternity of Ms. Percival, Mr. Hansen, you are her father.
Mr. Woody's recent appearance in the courtroom led to the revelation of the child's paternity question, and he wants to prove that he is the father of Miss Wilson's son, even though Woody Jr.'s mother is unsure of who her real baby daddy is, and she is in desperate need of a DNA result.
Now, Ms. Wilson, you confess you slept with another man at the time of conception. You honestly can't be sure who fathered your child.
Yes, Your Honor.
So, Mr. Woody, you really don't know if he's your biological child.
Yes, Your Honor.
Please explain to the court.
When I found out I was having a son, I was excited because what man doesn't want to have a junior?
On the trial's procession, it was revealed that the participants of the case did not commit to each other, and baby mama had been intimate with another guy. That's the loop of doubt.
When I met Mr. Woody, I was walking down the street with my friend. We were drunk, and he said, "You're cute." And I was like, "Oh, you're cute too." And we walked back to my friend's house. We had intercourse.
Was he the only man you were intimate with during that time?
No, Your Honor.
However, the defendant said that she had just one other guy in the picture. Now that is just being honest enough. But still, that is surely a huge perpetrator of doubt.
How many other men were there?
Just one.
How did you find out she was pregnant?
She sent me a message on Facebook, Your Honor. I guess she couldn't find me, so she sent me a message on Facebook.
No. It's not because I couldn't find her, it's because he left.
After this, the pregnancy revelation part was brought up in the courtroom. It turned out Miss Wilson and Mr. Woody's girlfriend spat over Facebook. And then things went far off like this.
When I tried to go home to my girlfriend, and she's like, "You got somebody pregnant right now." And I'm like, "Shut up."
So, Ms. Wilson, when you get a message back, what does the message say?
First message I got back was, I think he said, "The B word, you're lying," or something.
The shocking part was that the other guy had no idea about the baby. Mommy kept him unaware of the little child that he could be the father of. But why did she only single out Mr. Woody in this mess? This is what she had to say.
You say there's another guy. Did you also send a message to him?
No.
So you never told the other guy you were pregnant?
No. He was the last person I initially had intercourse with.
But you do know that it doesn't matter who's first and who's last, it's about the window of conception, right?
That's about enough to call for a DNA test, because no one in the world deserves to be raised without a father. And Miss Wilson also wanted her baby to have everything. However, let's wrap up this mess.
When it comes to 2-month-old Michael Woody Jr., Mr. Woody, you are not his father.
What?
The result was so hard for both sides that even the judge had to step off to sue things. This is why we should make things better for ourselves and others to have a peaceful life.
I know. You had to know. You want to sit down? Okay.
Right.
We're going to have some resources for you. We're going to help you just talk through this. I know this is not what you wanted to hear.
That's my son, man.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.